Hey, what's going on everybody? Jason here. So I wanted to make this video on how to make a custom filter for your fish tank. And I'm mainly making this video for some of you guys in the fish tank groups I'm in on Facebook. If you're just looking on YouTube for how to make a custom filter, then hopefully this helps you out. I just want to say off the bat, I am no expert. I've had many tanks in my day, and I'm very knowledgeable about it, but I'm not going to say that I'm an expert, nor I'm going to say is this the exact way you should do it. But for those of you who are new and setting up fish tanks, not too hard to set up a fish tank, but proper filtration is definitely a key. And for those of you who are experts, and maybe you haven't done this before, so hopefully this will help some of you out. So first thing I did, I don't know if some of you know, I have a square foot cube acrylic fish tank that I made. So it holds about 6-7 gallons. Now, I had an original air filter that I made for it that was not working so well, so I went to PetSmart. I bought myself a power head. This is a brand name, I believe it's Top Fin. This is $25 power head. As you can see, it's not that big, it's about the size of my hand. But this little baby packs a punch. So I'll go over this real quick. You got a couple of 4 suction cups on the back. To hold it to the glass. You have this spout on here which disconnects, and this is really nice. It has an it has a regulator for your water flow. You can adjust the water flow, and it has an intake port for your air pump, so you can shoot in some bubbles and it'll oxygenate the water a little bit better. And you also have this flow tip on here. You can kind of direct the water, so you can turn this whichever way you want and kind of direct the flow of the water wherever you want. And it's very good quality. And before we go any further, I'm going to show you how well this works. I'm going to dunk this in a bucket of water and show you guys. Alright guys, we're going to plug this in real quick, and I'm just going to, these are made to be submersible. You don't have to have them completely submersible, and I can't really, so I'm just going to put this in a little bit. I'm going to plug it in and show you how much water comes out of this. It's already draining a bunch of water out of that bucket real quick. I don't know if you could see how much water just came out of there, but that was full. That just took down 2 inches in about, I don't know, 10-15 seconds. Alright guys, so you just saw how much water this will pump. I believe this specific one is about 118 gallons per hour. But the one thing to understand, the water that was shooting out of here, that's free flowing water. Obviously, you're not going to have that much water shooting out once you have the filter put together and you have all the media restraining the water a little bit. But just to show you the power that this little pump has, that's only this size. I mean, I don't have big, my hands are about medium size, so this is really small but packs a punch. So I'm going to show you the actual custom filter that I made. And so I went over to the hardware store. I got some 2-inch, I think this is about 2-inch black PVC pipe. And got a couple of caps. Okay, so I cut this down to just under 7 inches. This is 7 inches long. And it comes, like I said, in about, when you purchase this, it's about 2.5 feet long. So the power head was $25. And for 2.5 feet of this and 2 caps was $8. Okay, so $33. Not bad at all for a filter like this, and I'll show you why. So we're going to put this together real quick, and then I'll kind of show you how I made it as we go along. So as you can see all these holes at the bottom. This is where you're going to suck your water in from the tank. And I got a couple of notches on here. I have to make sure I line up correctly. And if I can find it. There we go. And I'm going to push that on. Okay, so this is the bottom part where your water is going to be sucked in. How did I do that? Well, what I did is I put the cap on here, and then I used my drill, and these are 1/4-inch holes. Make sure you have the bottom cap on when you drill the holes. And you just drill the holes whenever you want. The other thing you have to take into consideration, because you're not a computer and you're not perfect, your holes are not going to be evenly spaced. So when you do this, make sure you use a knife and do some kind of little marking, so when you put the cap on, it has to be in the same position every time. I have I have a little notch here and there you probably can't see, so it goes on the exact same position every time so that the holes line up correctly. Now the top, all I did was drill a hole for the top for the power head to fit into, and that holds it. You can push it all the way, that holds it. Drilling this top will be a little bit more challenging. This is a big hole. I think I used my biggest half-inch drill bit and then a cylinder sanding piece to get that wider. So you will need at least a drill with some drill bits in order to make this properly. This hole will probably be the biggest challenge. These holes down here can pretty much be whatever size you want, just have enough of them for enough water to get in. But you do need to make this a certain size to fit the intake on the power head so it's snug. And it's got to be snug so the water being sucked is only coming through this and not the and you're not sucking water in between this area. Okay, so the media. What am I using for the media? Filter floss. I've been reusing for this for a while, and I will continue to use it. It probably has enough beneficial bacteria on it right now. Filter floss. Whole lot of it. This is basically pillow stuffing. You can get it at Walmart. It's like $3.99 for this humongous roll of it that will last you forever. Make sure you get the 100% natural. Don't get anything that says mildew or mold resistant, because there's added chemicals to it. Make sure it's the 100% natural. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to stuff that down there as far as I can. Got a little knife here. You don't have to compact it too much. Just stuff it down there so that it's covering the holes that you can see right there. Then my next media that I highly recommend is carbon. Get yourself some carbon. I got this at PetSmart. It's about 10 bucks, but this big thing was going to last for a long time. And what you're going to do is just take your filter floss, take about a square of it, pour some carbon. I actually have it tied up with a rubber band, and you just make your own little sack of carbon and then push that down. And I'm going to push that down just a little bit. And then your biological media, I'm using those ceramic stones that you can get at pretty much any fish store. And then I'm just going to dump that in there. And push that down maybe just a little bit. Put your cap on there. Put your power head. There's your filter. It's a thing of beauty. This works so efficient, it is insane. Like I said, this is rated for 118 gallons an hour, and in my little 6-7 gallon cube tank, it is just, I mean, it's ridiculous. I love these things. I will never buy a ready-made filter again, and I'll tell you why. I'm not going to take cost into consideration as far as the media. As far as your carbon, your biological media, or your filter floss right here, I'm not going to take that cost, and I'll tell you why. Because if you buy an over-the-counter ready-made filter, you're always having to change the cartridge in it, right? It always comes with a cartridge with this, and then you've got carbon in it. You know, the bio wheels, the top fin filters, you always have to buy new cartridges. Just like this, you're always going to have to buy maybe some new carbon, maybe some of this when it wears out. But if you buy enough of it, if you get that big fat roll for $3.99, this is going to last you forever. And especially a 10-gallon jug of this. So the actual pieces, the pipe and the power head, was only $33. You don't ever throw out the biological material, the biological media, the stones. You can even use lava rock if you want. Using little pieces of lava rock, you can use that too for your biological media. But for $33, this holds probably 10 times as much media as those over-the-counter filters. Now, I'm not talking canister filters, and I'll go into that right here. This is what I originally wanted to make my filter out of, with this power head. This is kind of a custom design. You could do it however you want. I was going to have the water. I was going to somehow fix a pipe onto here, and the water was going to come in this way and then come out through the bottom. So the biological will be on the bottom, then the carbon on top of that, and all the filter floss would be on the top. So I'd have to silicone some tube from here, drill a hole down here, have it come out to the power head. Basically the same idea as this. This is basically somewhat of a mini canister filter. It's just an inside the tank filter is what it is. So with these power heads, you could also rig up your own canister filter just using a little thermos like this. And this will work. And you can hold so much more media in here. And that's the great thing about these. You can pack these with so much media that it's going to filter your water, I mean, 10 times more than the your standard over-the-counter filters like at PetSmart. The Bio Wheel, the Top Fin, they have those cartridges, if you guys know, with the pipe that goes down in the water and then the water just overflows back into the tank. The other advantage to this, you have this spout. You can aim the water anywhere. You can suck, the water gets sucked up through here and you can shoot that water out. It's not just going right straight back down into the tank. And I'll show you how that works once I get this back in the tank. So yeah, this is, I will never ever buy a ready-made filter. I will always customize it. This would easily work, I'm going to say even, this would easily work for a 10-gallon tank. If I went up to a 20-gallon, I would put 2 of these in there. You can never over-filter. You can only under-filter. Okay, so I think that's just about it. If you guys are mechanically minded, this really is not a hard job at all. All it is just cutting the PVC, drilling some holes, filling it up with your media, and it's ready to go. And you can use whatever media works for you, fill it up with that. And for me, this works great. So let's go put this back in the tank and I'll show you how it works when it's running. Alright guys, now the filter is in the tank. There's the bottom with the holes. The suction cup is holding it on the back of the tank. And I'm not sure if you can tell from the video how much current is going this way. I got my air pump going to the intake. And so as the current comes out, it kind of blows the bubbles out. And if you look carefully at the smaller bubbles, you'll see how much they're shooting outwards. That's how much current is coming out. Now these are made to be fully submersible, and if you don't fully submerge them, they are quite a little bit noisy. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's not too bad. But this is my cube. There's my Demasoni in there, and I got an Eratus in there somewhere. And I know you guys are probably going to yell at me, oh, the tank is too small. You're right, it is too small. I will upgrade when I get a chance. Also, I recommend this LED lighting that I got from PetSmart. I think it was 20 or 25 bucks. But it's perfect for this tank or even a 10-gallon. And you just clip it on the back. There's just a touch on top. It's got blue and white. So at night you can just have the blue light going. But it works really well and it looks really good. So that's it. That's my filter. That's how I make it. And when you just buy the power head, whoops, sorry, just dropped something. When you buy one of these power heads, you can connect. You can make any type of filter you want on the bottom. Also with that canister filter, what I was talking, which is what I wanted to originally use, but all the piping I was going to have to buy was going to cost a little bit more than what I wanted to do. I'd have to buy piping and fittings and clamps and all that stuff, and I didn't want to spend that much more, so I just made the inside the tank filter right there. But if you didn't want it in there, you can use the same power head, you know, run hoses outside to this and then back in. That's the nice thing about these power heads, you can do so many different things with them. But they are extremely efficient, they filter the water much better. So like I said at the beginning, if you guys are beginners, if this helps you out, great, awesome. If for those of you who are experts and already know, you probably won't be watching this video in the first place. But whoever this helps out, I hope it did. And I love this filter. I will never buy another over-the-counter one. I will always make my own because you can customize it like this. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. You guys have a good one out there.